Welcome everyone to another episode of Chain Ready. I am excited today to give you guys a full overview of NEAR, AURORA, and Polaris Finance. Within this video, you will learn about what makes NEAR and AURORA unique within the Layer 1 blockchain space, and you will also learn about what I consider to be the number one DeFi move you can make right now, Polaris Finance. Please consider that none of this is financial advice. You need to always do your own research into what you feel is an appropriate level of risk, and never invest more into crypto and blockchain than you can 100% afford to lose. Now, with that all said, let's get right into the subject here. I don't personally believe in telling jokes or trying to be funny on a channel like this. I think you guys are here for the information, so let's get right to it. Some of you are probably already somewhat familiar with NEAR protocol. However, to give a basic breakdown of NEAR, it is a fully sharded Layer 1 blockchain. So what this means is that NEAR was created by a group of gigabrains who have extensive experience in database management, project management, and software applications. Because of this, NEAR was developed primarily to exist in a more user-friendly format compared to many of the other blockchain technologies out there. In a nutshell, NEAR is incredibly fast, scalable, and has some of the cheapest gas fees of any Layer 1 blockchain out there right now. NEAR is a NEP 141 protocol token. It is their own protocol and their own token that they have created for their NEAR Layer 1 blockchain. Because NEAR is its own Layer 1 blockchain, it is not directly compatible with ERC20 or Ethereum-based applications. In order to give ERC20 developers a head start on utilizing their pre-existing written projects within NEAR, they have also created a Layer 2 solution called AURORA. AURORA is an Ethereum virtual machine. This means that it is fully compatible with all of the ERC20 blockchain applications that already exist. AURORA is essentially an ERC20 compatible solution that allows any Ethereum native application to run on it. AURORA exists within a single smart contract on the NEAR blockchain. What that means is that AURORA benefits from the advantages of NEAR while giving full compatibility with all of the ERC20 applications. This is important because you get very cheap fees, you get incredibly fast transaction finality, and you also get the ability for developers to deploy their existing ERC20 apps over on AURORA. They do not have to rewrite all of the code to exist from an ERC20 blockchain into NEAR's NEP 141 blockchain. While NEAR has had a variety of different DeFi, market maker, and LP type projects for many months now, AURORA is now finally starting to get the steam that it needs for more and more projects and users to move over to the AURORA network. As a result, we are seeing a ton of liquidity being sucked into AURORA right now, as both developers and end users are starting to see some of the very clear benefits to adaptation to NEAR and AURORA. One of those particular projects that is currently deployed on AURORA is Polaris Finance. Polaris Finance is a basis or tomb fork, meaning that it is an algorithmic stablecoin project. This means that they have a governance token called S-Polar. That governance token, S-Polar, is used to maintain the price peg of multiple other tokens within the Polaris Finance ecosystem. Currently, Polaris Finance offers pegged tokens to the value of NEAR, to the value of Luna, and to the value of Solaris. That means that within one single platform, you can hold the equivalent of up to 4 separate tokens. You can hold S-Polar, which is the native governance token. You can hold Polar, which is pegged to the value of NEAR. You can hold Lunar, which is pegged to the value of Luna, and you can hold Tripolar, which is pegged to the value of XTRI, or the staked Solaris token. For those of you not familiar with tomb forks or the basis algorithmic stablecoin model, this may seem very confusing. However, the big takeaway, what you need to understand, is that Polaris's governance token, S-Polar, has significant functionality and value in that it prints other tokens that help them to maintain their pegged price. What that means, and the big takeaway from that, is that unlike other reward tokens on most platforms, which see a constant decline in value as users are rewarded in that token and then they sell it for a different token or for a stable coin, in the case of Polaris, what we're seeing is a very unique opportunity to get into a project where the value of their governance token is actually mooning right now, because people understand this token for the next year minimum will absolutely 100% be used in order to generate more tokens and, in effect, passive income. Now, even though the price of S-Polar has literally 20x'd in the last month or so, it is still looking very bullish right now, and there are constantly new users learning about Polaris Finance and moving there. Currently, their Discord only has 1,300 users approximately, and their wallet count, last time I checked, was under 1,500 wallet holders. So what this means is that if you get into Polaris Finance now, even though the price has mooned a little bit, it's still probably early, and there's still probably lots of good upside to Polaris Finance directly. And again, just to reiterate, the reason for this and what makes S-Polar different than any other shitcoin out there is that the value of S-Polar is going to be continuously tied to generating passive income in the form of printing the peg tokens, which creates inflationary pressure and drives the price of those peg tokens back down towards their target peg price. Other small market cap coins out there often have no utility of any kind, and it's simply the hope that other people buy that token is your motivation for getting into the project. In the case of Polaris and S-Polar, I just want to reiterate once again, there is extensive functionality in use in S-Polar, and that's why the price remains so bullish, and people are really not taking much profit here, because they understand while we're at $700 now a token, this could easily be a $1,200 or $1,500 token in 6 months. So if you're an investor and you are holding on to some of these S-Polar tokens, would you want to sell when the price of them was $200, knowing that it could go to $400? And if you're holding them at $400, we're now at $700. Why would you sell at $500 or $600 when the price of this thing could literally moon to over $2,000 a token? What that means for people coming into the project right now is that even though the price of this token is near $600-$700 range, again, there is still potential upside of 3-4x easily within the next few months. But again, you will each need to do your own research and determine the appropriate level of risk for yourself and whether or not buying into a project like this is the right move for you. If you do decide to get into a low cap project like Polaris, always dollar cost average in. So if, say, you have an investment of $1,000 you would like to put in $250, wait a little bit and see what happens with the price. Put in another $250. If it looks like the price is going to continue moon, then buy, then put in your whole amount. But don't just ape in your entire investment all in one shot, because you may see a slight loss and you might have had a better opportunity for a better price and entry point. But again, everybody, please do your own research. None of this is financial advice. I am simply stating what I have observed and what has worked for me. Okay, next up, we're going to cover how to get started with creating a near web wallet. The first step is going to be head on over to wallet.near.org. From here, you will click on this blue Create Account button. As you can see, Near Wallet is a secure wallet and account manager for your accounts on the Near blockchain. Once you create an account, you'll need to interact with applications on Near and to securely store your various tokens and NFTs. So we click on Get Started, and we are going to use a secure passphrase. We're going to click on Secure My Account. You're going to then receive a 12-word passphrase. This is how you will gain access to your Near wallet in the future if you ever need to get to your Near wallet from a new device. Okay, if say you set this up on your laptop and your laptop bites the dust and now you have to get another laptop. Okay, the only way you're going to be able to access your funds is if you have access to this secure passphrase. You need to make a copy of this secure passphrase. Do not store it in your email. Do not store it on Google Drive. Don't store it in any cloud platform. Write it down. Make a physical copy. If you have enough money in there, put it in a safe deposit box. You might end up with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of income in your Near wallet. So make a secure copy of this. Put it in a place only you have access to it. Do not email it to yourself. Do not put it on Google Drive. Do not put it in Dropbox. Do not put it anywhere that it could be compromised, because if it is, all of your funds are gone. So just to reiterate here, this is both your username and your password in a sense when it comes to accessing the Near wallet. If you lose this, if this is compromised in any way, all of your funds can be lost. Okay, once you have made a copy of your passphrase, you have it safely stored, you're going to hit continue, and it's going to ask you to verify one word from that phrase. In this particular case, the word was journey. Okay, we have now verified that I know what the secure passphrase is. It's now time to fund the wallet in order to set up a user-friendly name for your account. In order to do that, you can buy with either MoonPay or uTorg. You can also buy on KuCoin. And if you know me personally in any capacity, please feel free to shoot me a DM and I will send you the 0.1 Near that you need for free in order to get started on Near. However, regardless of how you're going to go ahead and do that, you're going to need to get at least 0.1 Near into your wallet. You can, like it says, you can purchase it, you can send from an exchange, or you can ask a friend. In this case, that might be me. However, this is your Near wallet, so we will copy that and we'll go to MoonPay. MoonPay will require you to KYC. Just be aware, you'll have to prove your identity to them in the form of a driver's license and social security number, etc. This is required because you are purchasing basically something that in order to comply with US regulations, they require that you are a KYC individual, that they know who you are. So in order to do this, you will need to enter your email address and go through a series of steps here. It's really pretty simple. You will KYC, they will approve your identity, and then you will be able to purchase however much initial Near you want and send that to your Near wallet. And once you have gone ahead and funded your Near wallet, you will be able to then come into Near and you will be able to see what your Near balance is, as well as all of the other NEP 141 tokens that are available to you on the direct Near wallet. Now, please keep in mind that this is a layer 1 blockchain. So you cannot hold native Ethereum assets in here. You cannot hold native Bitcoin in here. Anything that comes from another blockchain that you want to hold on Near is going to be a Near wrapped version of that token. Now, when we go on Ref Finance, which is one of the primary DeFi applications built on Near, it's the automated market maker for Near protocol. So essentially, this means that Ref Finance is the main liquidity provider for swaps and other functionality on Near. As you can see, these are the various tokens that are supported natively within Ref Finance and Near. So we can see we don't have Bitcoin, but we have wrapped Bitcoin instead. Basically, in order to exist within the Near blockchain, it has to be an NEP 141 native token. And there are wrapped versions of other popular tokens that exist within Near, so that you can still trade that token and the equivalent price of that token. However, it has to be wrapped into a format that the Near blockchain understands. Now, as soon as you set up your Near wallet and you fund it, you will now have access to Ref Finance, and you will connect your Near web wallet to Ref Finance. And you will connect your Near web wallet to Ref Finance. Once you do that, you can now take your Near balance, and you can now trade this for a variety of other tokens that are native to Near. So as you can see, there's all kinds of small projects here that are being developed. You have to look into each one of these projects individually, look at the fundamentals of what they're doing, look at who are the people behind the project, but a lot of these tokens have upside potential, okay? I guarantee some of these tokens are gonna go up in value. I can't tell you which ones, and I can't say how much because I can't predict the future, but what I can tell you with basic certainty is that if you're getting into Near now, you're still on the early side of the uptick in popularity for Near. So if you do your research into some of these projects, like for example, Octo Network is looking really good. Also, let's see, Linear looks really good. There's USN, which is their new stable project that they haven't officially announced yet, but there's all kinds of projects being built on here that could have potential upside. So just alone by getting access to the Near wallet and Ref Finance, you now have access to a wide variety of tokens that you otherwise will not be able to get on any centralized exchange out there. Okay, so with all that in mind and everything you've learned so far about how to interact with the Near web wallet and Ref Finance, we're now going to take it a step deeper, and we're going to look into how to take those Near assets and bridge them over to Aurora, and then you are now able to enter into some of the even smaller and lesser known DeFi projects out there that are all ERC20 compatible and built on the Aurora Ethereum virtual machine. The first process to getting started with interacting with Aurora is going to be to set up MetaMask. In order to install MetaMask, you have a couple options. The one that I will be covering here is how to set up MetaMask as a browser extension on a desktop or laptop computer. You also have the option to set up MetaMask as a standalone smartphone application on Android or iOS. And the process is overall similar. The biggest difference is that you're going to use the built-in browser within the application on your phone if you choose to do it that way. However, if you choose to install the Firefox add-on, then you're going to visit the web pages within Firefox, and those web pages will interact with the MetaMask extension in order to access your funds. Either way that you go about it, whether it's through a smartphone app or whether it's through the browser extension, the basic idea is the same, however. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to add MetaMask to Firefox, and you will now see there is a little fox icon up here in the corner. This is your MetaMask extension within Firefox. And we'll click Get Started. You're going to create a wallet. You're going to agree to their terms. You're going to create a new password. And at this point, you will now be asked to secure a passphrase, just like we did previously when we used Near Wallet. Again, you're going to follow the same security measures that we discussed with setting up the passphrase for your Near Wallet. And in this case now, we are going to have to verify that we know what the password is. And now we're going to have to go ahead and verify that we know the passphrase. So we'll go ahead and we will enter these words in the order that they were written down. Okay, so once you have gone ahead and re-entered the passphrase in, verifying that you have access to your passphrase, you are all done. We have now created a MetaMask wallet. This is a big step towards entering into the DeFi world. So if you have never used MetaMask before, congratulations. You are now entering into a part of the crypto world that probably like 50% of users never even get to. And again, you have more responsibility in managing this non-custodial wallet. However, there's a lot more potential upside as you'll now have access to lots of different projects that can bring in passive income as well as potential gains in just seeing the price of these tokens rise up. Okay, so now that you have set up your web wallet and you have installed MetaMask extension, you will now be able to easily bridge assets between Near and Aurora, and vice versa, going back to Near from Aurora. Once you have your wallet set up on both Near and MetaMask, you're going to go to rainbowbridge.app/transfer. And this is the primary bridge to send assets back and forth between those three different blockchains, between the Ethereum virtual machine Aurora, between the native Near NEP 141 blockchain, and between the native ERC20 blockchain Ethereum. So as you can see, we have the three options here. It's very simple. You simply connect to the same web wallet that you had set up for Near. You hit connect to Aurora. You're going to, again, establish that same connection to the Aurora network within your MetaMask extension. And you now have the ability to take assets that you have on Near and send them to Aurora. So as we can see, once you hit continue, you're able to then select your token. I'll just, for the sake of this, I'll send one wrapped Near over to the Aurora network. Now you can see that transfer already happened. It was very quick. And if I go into my MetaMask wallet, you might notice, oh, hey, I don't see that token. It doesn't show up. Well, don't freak out. It's just the way MetaMask works. It doesn't show every token that you hold by default. You have to tell it to show that token. So don't freak out if you don't see your tokens in there. What you need to do is head over to aurorascan.dev, and we are going to get the contract address for Near. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to copy that. We're going to go back into MetaMask. We're going to do import token, and we're going to paste the token contract address. We can see that it knows this is Near. It knows it's a 24 decimal address. We hit add custom token, and then you can see my 1.5 Near are now here within MetaMask. So we can take a look. Again, we can see we have 1.48 Near that was transferred over using Rainbow Bridge, sending the wrapped Near over to our MetaMask account. Now that we have funds both in our Near wallet and we're able to transfer those funds over to Aurora and MetaMask, we can now get started with Polaris directly. Some of you users are probably already familiar with MetaMask. You're already familiar with ERC20 blockchain projects. And if that's the case, you can jump right to here in order to get started with Polaris. First step to get started with Polaris is head on over to polarisfinance.io. This will bring up the Polaris Finance website. All websites that connect to MetaMask will typically have a connect button up here in the top right corner. Once you click that, you will then click on MetaMask. You will hit next, hit connect. You will approve the connection between Polaris Finance and your MetaMask wallet. This now gives you the ability to take those assets that you have in your MetaMask account, swap them for some of the various tokens that you can now purchase on Polaris Finance. As we already previously discussed, the governance token for Polaris Finance is S-Polar. This is the one that I am the most bullish on. This is their native governance token, which means it's a growth token. It can go up or down. It's not pegged to anything. And then we have their pegged tokens, which are Polar, Lunar, and Tripolar. Now, so far, those are the three pegged tokens that Polaris Finance has introduced. As you may know, though, Polaris Finance has a plan to continue to add more pegged tokens to their system. Each time they add a new pegged token, we may see an influx of liquidity come into that pegged token pairing because there are passive income opportunities for each one of these pegged tokens. There are liquidity pools under Dawn. If you're not familiar with what a liquidity pool is the combination of two tokens that allows you to make trades without significantly impacting the price of each token. When you have liquidity pools with significant TVL, total value locked, that means that unless you're making a trade for hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tokens or more, the trades are not going to significantly impact the price of either token, whether you're buying or selling. So these liquidity pools are available. And as you can see, if you have S-Polar and NEAR, you can deposit those two tokens into this liquidity pool and then gain 540% APR. This APR is separate than any gains that you might see from the value of the token going up. So just keep in mind, this is passive income. This is a way to make additional returns separate from the value of the tokens themselves. Now, this type of passive income generation for me has been a game changer with my crypto investing. I will never go back to the days of buying tokens that you just hold onto and hope they go up. Everything that I invest in now has a passive income potential through either the use of staking or providing into a liquidity pool. This is a game changer for crypto investors. If you're not actively involved in projects that give guaranteed daily passive income, I feel that you're really losing out on the potential of what crypto can do for you and how you could take a certain amount of money and watch it turn into significantly more. Once you're on Polaris Finance website and you have now connected your MetaMask to Polaris, the first step, and what I would do if I was just getting involved, is I would make a liquidity pool with Polar and NEAR. So we would go to Dawn, we would click on Polar NEAR, and we would go ahead and enter equal parts Polar and NEAR into this liquidity pool. Now, if you're wondering, how do you get Polar? How do I buy this Polar token? If directly on the home page, you can see there's a buy button. This is going to kick you over to Solaris. Solaris is the primary swap and exchange built on Aurora. It is the #1 way to swap assets back and forth between different ones on Aurora. So what you can see is that by clicking that link to purchase Polar, we are given an option to now enter the wrapped NEAR token. Okay, again, you always have to connect your wallet. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to connect our wallet. Okay, so we can see that I have a maximum of 1.48 wrapped NEAR, which would give me 1.2 Polar. What you want to do is you want to swap 50% of the NEAR for Polar. So you go ahead and you click the 50% button, and then we go ahead and hit swap. This will now take 50% of our balance of NEAR and give it to us in the form of Polar. We can see that transaction finished. And if we go ahead and we take a look at our MetaMask, we can see that under this activity, we did a swap exact tokens for tokens. We can go back to the Polaris Finance homepage, and you'll notice that each of these tokens has a little fox icon. That will automatically add that token to your MetaMask. So now you can see that balance. And I can see that I have 0.7 wrapped NEAR, and I can see that I have 0.6 Polar. The next step is to go over to Dawn, click on the Polar NEAR liquidity pool. Now, as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different liquidity pools that you can enter into here. You have the option. If you're into Luna, you would go with this one. If you're into Solaris, you do this one. I'm a big NEAR bull, so I'm going to do Polar and NEAR. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on Provide Liquidity for Polar NEAR Pair on Solaris. This is going to create an LP token, or a liquidity pool token. You're going to hit maximum Polar. You're going to input each of these. We're going to confirm that supply. We're going to confirm that on MetaMask. That transaction has been submitted. We can see that we now gain some pool tokens. Those pool tokens are what you now come back here, and you can now deposit those pool tokens into this liquidity pool. So we go ahead, we hit the plus button, we hit max. Although it can take a minute, so you just give it a minute and let your MetaMask update. Refresh this page a couple times. And then now we can see I have 619 Polar NEAR LP tokens available. We're going to max, we're going to confirm. Confirm in MetaMask. Give it a few minutes, and you will now see that your Polar NEAR LP has been built. And every day you're going to gain rewards at a rate of 424% APR. You are going to gain S-Polar by staking Polar and Near. The other option is for people who would like to just hold S-Polar. It's a very similar process. Again, you're just going to go to the homepage, click buy, and you will now be able to purchase S-Polar from your existing balance of various different tokens that you have. So we could take Wrapped Near, we could purchase S-Polar, you can go back to Polaris Finance, and now when you come to Sunrise, this is where they are able to do single staking of S-Polar. So if you were to come into here, you can see that I've already got some deposited, and what you would do is you would, a very similar process, you would approve S-Polar, and then you would simply stake that S-Polar, earning a 385% APR that is going to print you more Polar tokens. You can take these Polar tokens, you can reinvest them back into your Polar Near liquidity pool. This way, you can pump your own bags. You can actually create more of the liquidity pair tokens, put them back in, earn more S-Polar, and in turn, stake that S-Polar and earn more rewards from those. So once you have your liquidity pool set up like this, you're going to gain rewards in the form of S-Polar. You can take that S-Polar and you can stake it back in the Sunrise and earn more of the Polar token. Once you earn a significant amount of this Polar token, I recommend taking 80% of that, reinvesting it back into the liquidity pool, taking 20% as profit. And you can continuously do this, and it will not jeopardize the protocol by putting too much sell pressure on the Polar token. If the Polar token has too much sell pressure and it drops below the peg of Near, what happens as a result is that they call this the bank or the boardroom, it will stop printing. This only prints when the price of Polar is 1.01 or higher than the price of Near. If the price of Polar drops to less than 1 of Near for a certain period of time, this will stop printing and it will not give you any rewards until the price of Polar goes back above 1.01, and then this continues to print more Polar, creating an inflationary effect, driving the price back down towards peg. So I hope this has really helped everybody understand how to get onto Near and Aurora, and then how to move into a project like Polaris Finance. I know I always get a lot of questions from people when I talk about Polaris and what kind of moves it's doing. People ask, how do I get it? So I hope this has helped you on that process, and you now understand a little bit clearer how to go from having no Near wallet of any kind into getting a Near wallet, setting up MetaMask, and then moving funds between your Near wallet and MetaMask in order to get into a project like Polaris Finance. If you have any questions, if there's any particular part of this process that wasn't clear and you need more information on, please leave a comment below. I'm more than happy to help people understand how to move into the Near and Aurora ecosystem. Happy investing, safe investing. Remember, crypto is one of the most volatile and dangerous investments that you can make. There's no guarantee on any of your funds. Only invest what you can 100% afford to lose, and invest wisely and smartly.